Ex-cruise workers expose 11 new secrets that passengers aren't supposed to know. They smile, they serve your cocktails, they keep the show running like clockwork. But what if I told you cruise workers know things that would completely change the way you look at your vacation? From hidden morgues buried deep below deck to secret codes whispered over the PA system, there's an entire side of cruising you were never meant to see. Former crew are finally spilling the truth, the surveillance tracking you everywhere you go, the casino odds that make Vegas look generous, and the dark reality of what really happens when someone goes overboard. Some of these secrets are shocking. Some will make you think twice before booking your next shore excursion, and a few might even save your trip from being ruined. Stick around, because the very first secret is one the cruise lines pray you never find out about. And it starts 6 feet below your feet. Secret number 1, the morgue below deck. You board a cruise ship expecting pools, cocktails, and Broadway-style shows. Not a morgue. But the truth is, almost every modern cruise ship carries one, hidden deep below the passenger decks where you'll never see it. Why? Because when you've got 3, 4, even 6,000 people at sea, deaths are not rare. On a typical 7-day cruise, odds are someone on board won't make it back to port alive. It might be natural causes, a medical emergency, or in rare cases, something darker. Former crew say the morgue is usually a cold storage room that can hold several bodies at once, tucked away near the lowest service decks. If a passenger dies, security and medical staff quietly escort the body down there until the ship returns to port. No announcements, no public panic. Most of the other guests never even realize what's happened. And here's the chilling part. Cruise lines are masters at keeping it out of sight. Staff are trained to speak in code over the radio. You'll never hear, "There's been a death broadcast." Instead, it might be something like Code Alpha, Deck 7, or Operation Bright Star. That way, passengers stay blissfully unaware while the ship carries on like nothing happened. Why should you care? Because it shows how much happens behind the scenes that you'll never be told about. And the morgue is just the beginning. Wait until you hear what really happens when someone goes overboard. Secret number 2, the man overboard truth. It's every cruiser's nightmare, someone falling overboard. You'd think with today's technology, alarms would sound instantly and the ship would stop on a dime to rescue them. But the truth is far more unsettling. Former crew admit that many ships don't have automatic man overboard detection systems at all. Instead, it relies on cameras, eyewitness reports, or, in too many cases, nobody noticing until it's far too late. Even on ships that do have the tech, false alarms are common, which means the crew sometimes hesitate before reacting. And here's the part cruise lines rarely admit. Every second counts. If someone goes overboard at night, in rough seas, or without anyone seeing them fall, the odds of survival drop to nearly 0. Recoveries are rare, rescues even rarer. When it does happen, you won't hear a dramatic announcement. Passengers are often kept in the dark while the ship quietly circles the area or coordinates with coast guards. Sometimes, the cruise even resumes like nothing happened, with only a few people on board realizing why they were delayed. Why does this matter? Because those sunny vacation photos hide a sobering truth. Overboard cases are not always the dramatic rescue stories you see on the news. More often, they're hushed up, quietly handled, and forgotten. And just wait, because if the morgue and overboard sound chilling, the next secret shows how the crew can literally talk in code right under your nose, and you'd never know it. Secret number 3. Crew codes you're not supposed to understand. When the captain or crew make an announcement, you probably assume it's just about trivia in the lounge or a reminder about the safety drill. But hidden in those calm voices are secret codes passengers aren't supposed to understand. Code Bravo usually means fire. Code Oscar signals a man overboard. Code Red can mean a virus outbreak. And one former staff member admitted that even a simple phrase like, "Mr. Mobley, please report to the bridge," could be code for a security threat on board. Then there are the ones for violence. Code Charlie has been used when there is a fight or unruly passenger that security needs to step in and contain, without panicking everyone else. Why does this matter? Because while you're sipping your margarita by the pool, there could be a fire drill happening on a lower deck, or a violent altercation 2 floors down, and you'd never know. The ship keeps running smoothly because the crew are trained to handle it all behind the curtain, using these codes to communicate in plain sight. So next time you hear a strange phrase or a random Code Bravo over the PA, that's not trivia night, That's the real cruise ship drama you were never supposed to know about. And if you think that's unsettling, wait until you hear how the ship is quietly tracking you from the moment you step on board. Secret number 4. Passenger profiling and cruise card tracking. That little plastic cruise card, or wearable medallion if you're sailing with certain lines, feels like a convenience. Tap to buy a drink, swipe into your cabin, no need for cash. But what most passengers don't realize is that it's also a surveillance tool building a profile of you. Every tap logs data: what you buy, where you spend your time, even what hour you usually head back to your cabin. Former crew admit it's all visible on their screens. One bartender said he knew the big spenders before they even stepped up to the bar because the system flagged their habits. But it's not just technology. Crew gossip plays into it too. Stewards swap notes on who tips generously, who's demanding, and who's just plain rude. Combine digital records with human whispers, and suddenly you're not just a passenger, you're a profile. Why does that matter? Because your invisible reputation shapes how you're treated. Polite, easygoing guests often get surprise perks. Maybe a free bottle of wine or a prime table. Chronic complainers? Their requests may suddenly move to the bottom of the list. It's the side of cruising no one talks about. You're constantly being assessed, logged, and ranked. And sometimes, the difference between an upgrade and being ignored comes down to more than money. It comes down to how you're perceived. And if you think that sounds unfair, just wait until you hear what's going on in the casino, where the odds are stacked against you from the very start. Before we continue, I was wondering if you could please like and subscribe if you are enjoying the video so far, and write a cruise for you in the comments so that I can thank you personally. Secret number 5. The casino edge. Step into the casino on a cruise ship and it feels like Vegas at sea. Flashing lights, the buzz of slot machines, the cheers of winners. But here's the secret. Those odds aren't anywhere near what you'd get on land. Former dealers admit that cruise casinos are designed to be far tougher on passengers. Slot machines can be server-controlled, meaning the payout percentages can be adjusted to levels that would never fly in a regulated casino back home. Blackjack often pays 6-5 instead of the traditional 3-2, which adds a huge edge to the house. And here's the trick the cruise lines use. They let just enough people win to keep the energy high. You'll hear jackpot bells, see champagne delivered to a lucky winner, even watch people get free cruises for racking up points. But the real money? That comes from the thousands of players feeding the machines night after night, thinking they're getting a fair shot. The truth is, the casino isn't there to entertain you. It's there to drain your wallet while keeping you smiling. So what can you do? Treat it like a show. Set a strict limit, stick to lower stakes games where the odds are clear, and never chase your losses. Because on a cruise ship, the house isn't just winning, the house is crushing you. And speaking of crushing illusions, let's talk about the food. Because that fresh buffet spread, it's not as fresh as you think. Secret number 6. Food isn't as fresh as you think. That buffet looks endless, colorful, and freshly made just for you. But behind the scenes, things aren't always as gourmet as they appear. Former kitchen staff reveal that while some food is cooked on board, a surprising amount arrives frozen. Lobster tails? Frozen. Steaks and chicken? Often frozen. Even pastries and breads can start as pre-mixed dough stored in giant freezers. And those scrambled eggs at the buffet? Many times, they're poured from a carton of pre-mixed liquid eggs instead of being cracked fresh. Now, to be fair, feeding thousands of people at sea isn't easy. Cruise ships are basically floating food factories, and freezing is the only way to keep things safe for days or weeks. But here's the catch. The quality can vary wildly. Guests often notice a big difference between what's served in the main dining room versus what you get in the specialty restaurants, where you're paying extra. So how do you beat the system? Look for the made-to-order stations. Omelets in the morning, pasta bars at lunch, stir-fry counters at dinner. That's where you'll find the freshest ingredients cooked right in front of you. Because while the buffet looks like it was whipped up moments ago, the truth is a lot of it's been sitting in storage far longer than you'd expect. And if that makes you think twice, wait until you hear about shore excursions, where the danger isn't in the food, it's in the fine print. Secret number 7. The shore excursion liability trap. Stepping off the ship for that once-in-a-lifetime excursion feels like the highlight of your cruise. Ziplining through the jungle, riding ATVs, exploring ancient ruins. What could go wrong? A lot more than the brochures will ever tell you. Former crew admit that most excursions are run by third-party operators, not the cruise line itself. And in some ports, especially in developing countries, safety standards can be shockingly low. Poorly maintained equipment, undertrained staff, and little oversight mean that when accidents happen, and they do, you're often on your own. Here's the kicker. Those long liability waivers you signed? They're designed to protect the cruise line, not you. If you break an ankle on that jungle trek or get into an accident in a tour van, don't expect the cruise company to cover your medical bills. At best, you'll get a refund for the excursion. The rest? That's your problem and your insurance's headache. But there's one reason many seasoned cruisers still stick with the ship's official tours. If something goes wrong and you're delayed, the ship will wait. Book privately and hit traffic or suffer a breakdown, and you'll wave goodbye as your floating hotel sails off without you. So here's the insider trick. For simple, nearby activities, like a beach within walking distance of the port, an independent operator can save you money. But if it's an all-day adventure far from the ship, pay the premium. Because that guarantee to wait could be the most valuable safety net you'll ever buy. And speaking of things that look like a deal but really aren't, let's talk about those free perks the cruise line is dangling in front of you. Secret number 8. The free perks that are sales traps. Who doesn't love the word free? Free champagne at the art auction, a complimentary spa consultation, a no-cost wine or whiskey tasting. Sounds like a bonus, right? Wrong. Former crew say these perks are rarely about generosity. They're about sales psychology. That bubbly at the art auction isn't there to celebrate you. It's there to lower your guard, so you feel good while bidding on overpriced artwork you never planned to buy. One couple reportedly walked away with a $9,000 painting, an instant buyer's remorse. The same goes for spa consultations. That free skin analysis or massage demo, it's carefully designed to upsell you on detox wraps, facials, or miracle creams that can cost hundreds, sometimes even thousands. And that wine tasting? Sure, it's fun, until you feel pressured to buy a marked-up bottle at the end. Here's the truth. The freebies aren't about treating you, they're about hooking you. And the cruise line knows most passengers won't walk out empty-handed. So enjoy the perks if you want. Take the glass of champagne, sit through the demo, but walk in with a mental shield. The real secret? Saying no thanks doesn't make you rude. It makes you one of the few people who actually walk away with your wallet intact. And if you think that's sneaky, just wait, because the next secret shows what happens when something really valuable goes missing on board. Secret number 9, the quiet handling of theft. You'd think that if something went missing on a cruise, your wallet, jewelry, maybe even your laptop, security would launch a full investigation, CSI style. But the truth? Most thefts on board are handled quietly and discreetly. Former security officers admit that, unless the value is extremely high, over $10,000 in some cases, most reports don't get the dramatic treatment passengers expect. Why? Because the cruise line's first priority isn't solving the crime, it's protecting the ship's reputation. A theft scandal could ruin the atmosphere for thousands of other guests and lead to terrible reviews. So instead, the response is often subdued. You'll be asked to double-check your cabin. Maybe file an insurance claim. If there's no clear suspect caught on camera, the case usually fades into the background, out of sight and out of mind. That doesn't mean nothing is ever recovered. Some guests do get their belongings back thanks to diligent staff and surveillance footage. But for most people, the experience is frustrating, even a little shocking, when they realize how little noise is made about it. The takeaway? Protect yourself. Always lock valuables in the in-room safe. Never leave expensive items unattended in public spaces, and take photos of what you packed before boarding. If the worst happens, at least you'll have proof for an insurance claim. Because on a cruise ship, theft isn't always treated like a crime. It's treated like bad publicity. And if that sounds harsh, wait until you hear what life is really like for the smiling crew who make your vacation possible. Secret number 10. Harsh crew living conditions, and the cabins you should avoid. When you see crew smiling as they serve your drinks or clean your cabin, you might imagine they finish their shift and head to a cozy little cabin with an ocean view. The reality? It's nothing like that. Former cruise workers reveal that most crew live in tiny, windowless rooms crammed into the lowest decks of the ship. Many share a space the size of a walk-in closet with another person. Privacy is rare, noise is constant, and comfort is an afterthought. And the hours? Brutal. 10 to 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. sometimes for months without a single day off. One bartender recalled collapsing into bed after a 12-hour shift, only to find his cabin sweltering with a broken air conditioner, and no guarantee it would ever get fixed quickly. Why should you care? Because it shows how much the crew sacrificed to keep your vacation seamless. The smiling service you enjoy often comes from people running on little sleep, far from their families, with no escape until their contract ends. But here's where this secret matters for passengers too. Some of the worst cabins you can book are located right above crew access areas, stairwells, or near the ship's lower corridors. Noise can go on late into the night, and you'll feel like you're living above a 24-hour staff hallway. So if you want a better night's sleep, choose a cabin midship, higher up, and ideally surrounded by other passenger rooms, not the crew's work zones. And now, after everything we've revealed, let's end on one of the most surprising secrets of all. The hidden crew zones and secret passenger spots most cruisers never discover. Secret number 11. Hidden crew zones and secret spots on the ship. While most passengers crowd around the main pool or line up at the buffet, former crew say the smartest travelers are slipping into the ship's hidden spaces, places most guests never even realize exist. Some are crew-only shortcuts, known as the I-95, a long hallway that runs the length of the ship below deck, connecting everything. You'll never be allowed down there, but it's the crew's secret highway to move around unseen. But there are passenger-accessible secrets too. Quiet lounges tucked behind art galleries, scenic decks that aren't marked on the ship map, observation spots at the very front of the ship that only the curious ever find. On newer ships, there are even speakeasy-style bars hidden behind unmarked doors, waiting for the few who stumble onto them. And here's a pro tip from former staff. The best time to enjoy the ship's most popular amenities, the pools, hot tubs, even the gym, isn't in the evening. It's on a port day, when thousands of passengers are ashore. That's when the ship feels like it belongs to you alone. So while the dark secrets, morgues, codes, thefts, and overboards show you what the cruise line doesn't want you to know, this one gives you the insider edge. Because sometimes, the best part of cruising is finding those quiet corners where it feels like the entire ocean is yours. And those are the 11 secrets ex-crew members say passengers were never supposed to know. But don't click away just yet. Because if you want to outsmart the cruise lines even more, I've got another video waiting for you. There are 14 things every smart cruise passenger does immediately after boarding. Click here to watch that video next and find out what they are. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy cruising.